Well, yesterday was Veterans Day, and I guess, took advantage of the opportunity, and I had me a nice free breakfast at IHOP. Thank you, IHOP, for serving veterans. But when I walked in the door, as I was standing at the door waiting to be seated, I listened to the lady who was trying to check out explain or relate the quality of service that she received while she was receiving her veterans breakfast. She was there with her son, so I assume she purchased something for him as well because he was a young, maybe 12 or 13-year-old. But the quality of service she received, now that was a whole different matter. Welcome to Leading Leaders Podcast, 5-minute videos, 5 days a week. I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast. See, the problem that apparently happened was that as soon as she announced that it was her veterans free meal, the quality of service immediately went down. This is as she told it, that by the time the food got to the table, it was cold, that the server never returned to the table to refill drinks. The server never returned to the table to ask if they needed even salt and pepper or anything as simple as that. The server just vanished. And part of what was running through my head was that question of why would the server feel like a veteran who has earned the free meal, if you will, would deserve that kind of treatment as a customer? I mean, why would anybody deserve that kind of treatment as a customer? But it dawned on me what that might be as I just kind of thought it through in my own head. Of course, later in the day, there were dozens of memes on social media about the concept that servers were being left stiffed by veterans who went in for a free meal at restaurants all over the country, where veterans would go in and say, I'll take my free hamburger, I'll take my free wings, I'll take my free breakfast, I'll take my free shake, whatever it is. And then they mistreated those that were serving them. Oh my gosh, how hard is that? Just be a good human, for heaven's sake. Well, all that was going through my head while I was still waiting to be seated, because obviously IHOP becomes very popular when breakfast is free for veterans. So there were a lot of veterans being seated and filling up what COVID capacity seating would allow them to fill. So as I waited for my seat, I thought to myself, I'm going to get the one-upsmanship on this. And so as soon as I was seated, I ordered my coffee. And when she came back with my coffee, I said, is it okay if I tip you now? And she thought I was going to hand her a $1 bill, because the surprise look on her face when I handed her a $5 told the entire story. She was very attentive. She's a pretty good server anyway, but she was very attentive. She had 7 tables. I watched her as she greeted each of them, and yet my coffee never got completely empty. It was a little slow with the salt and pepper, but I eat fast anyway because I don't like my food to be cold. But she was ahead of the game the whole way. I went for my free haircut too, as you can see, and I got what I paid for. But I tipped her before she started, and I tipped her generously. See, integrity is what you do when no one's looking. I'm not telling you this now to brag on myself. I'm telling you these stories because the reality of leadership that has fallen by the wayside is magnanimous. It's enormous when you look at the people who've just gotten lazy in the way they lead. They've gotten lazy in the influence that they have over others. They've taken advantage of their privileges, earned or otherwise. They've taken advantage of their opportunities to be other people. And they just take the luxuries for granted rather than taking them with great appreciation. It doesn't take much to think ahead to how you would want to be treated. Sure, the meal is free. Sure, the perks are free. There are a lot of people who have perks in life. In fact, I was just reading yesterday in John Maxwell's book, Leadership. And he said, there are a lot of people who want to get into leadership because they want the perks. They want the perks that come along with being a leader. They want the keys to the office. They want the bigger paycheck. They want the private parking space. They want the limo ride from the airport. They want all that stuff, all the perks of leadership. What they don't want is the price one has to pay to reach that level of leadership. Now, see, here's the real scary part. If you find yourself in a position where your leader is seeking the perks of leadership and not willing to pay the price of leadership, then what you will also find very quickly is that you are not as important to your leader as the perks they receive for leading you. When that happens, integrity goes out the window. When that happens, human compassion goes out the window. When that happens, you find that kind of person who wants the advantage of the free meal but doesn't want to tip the server. See, leaders who don't have compassion for the people they lead, who don't have humanity for the people they lead, they take advantage of them. They make excuses. They write new policies that benefit themselves so they can get the perks without regard for the people who are going to have to pay the price for them to get the perks. If you're a leader, have that at least modicum of integrity that says, I'm concerned about the people around me. I'm concerned about the people I influence. Yes, I enjoy my perks. Yes, I enjoy my privileges. But that doesn't mean that they should come to me at the cost of other people. If you're in leadership, at least have enough concern that your perks are gratefully received privileges, not something that's owed to you. And if you endeavor to be, or you desire to be, or you want to be in leadership, don't let the perks be the reason you want to be in leadership. Be in leadership or desire to be in leadership because of the quality of improvement you can bring to other people's lives. I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast for Tell It Like It Is TV. Have a blessed day.